sounds like y'all have done a lot of work here since you reported this last month. We appreciate all y'all do. Okay, let's move to the next item then. Russ Atkins. Russ, I saw you back there somewhere.
Yeah.
Come on up
Chocolate at the dip.
with the high school marching band. I don't know whether he's gonna march or play any instruments tonight.
I do not
Just
march.
talk.
Well, we hope they don't sing.
That costs extra.
We're on a tight budget.
Okay.
Russ spoke to the board here a couple of weeks ago. Of course, he'd signed in, so we weren't really able to have a little discussion, so he's come back.
Yeah, we got it all prepared. I'm gonna read a statement.
Go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Russell Atkins, and I'm speaking on behalf of the parents, friends, and family of many concerned band students, several of who have joined us here this evening. We are here this evening to discuss concerns we have about the lack of a marching band practice field and what plans and ideas the board has to correct this issue. The band was left without a practice area when development started on the area that will become the new football practice field. The marching band requires a large, unobstructed field to develop and perfect their field show. Mr. Cook and Mr. Snyder, are discussing areas that could be used for this field. The details for this field need to be finalized in order for the field to be available for use by the next marching season. As parents, we want to provide our children, the band, with the tools and facilities they need to sharpen their skills and continue to excel in the performance of the music programs they love. In order to better serve the band, we, the parents, are taking steps to establish a band booster organization. Mrs. Cook is working to complete the paperwork for this group. Former band members understand that money spent on music arts programs are an investment in children's futures that will pay dividends to them for the rest of their lives. Under Mr. and Mrs. Cook's direction, the band has grown steadily in size and quality since the consolidation of the original high schools. We have a vision of a larger band. We hope you share this vision as well. With Mr. and Mrs. Cook's continued dedication, the LCHS Panther Band will continue to be one of the largest, most successful programs at Lincoln County High School. With your help, the board can play a major part in enabling our award-winning band program to continue to grow and be a positive influence for children now and many more children in the future. Thank you for your time and attention. LCHS band parents.
Well, as we've talked before, you know, we appreciate and understand totally the importance of a good band at our high school. If you represent all of us wherever you go, aside from the fact that what the students gain from it and discipline and all the things that they gain from it. So aside from all the importance that the students get out of it, we all as a county, we all share in that. So just to reiterate, in the past, a couple of years ago, the board saw fit that we saw that we needed to have a feeder program. So we established in the middle schools so you could feed into the high schools. That's just like any activity, you know, you have to start them young. So we certainly agree with that. On tonight's agenda, another item that has come to our attention was that as far as Mr. Cook, who everyone assumed is the assistant band director, and well, what we really found out, we didn't really have technically an assistant band director. We had Mrs. Cook, and Mr. Cook, I guess, chose to help his wife or his colleague and continue to do it. But we plan to address that issue too, to correct something that really was just something that we weren't aware of and should have been. But once we became aware of it, we're going to address that. We're going to talk about that. Matter of fact, it's on our agenda tonight. So at the middle schools and the issue of having assistance from Mrs. Cook, you know, we want to do that. Now, as far as having a location for the band to practice and get ready for all that they do at games and competitions, we want that too. Where we are now is we have to be able to determine where we can best have that and have it in a location that's, you know, desirable for you all and all the band boosters and the band director. And also it's something that's, you know, that's available to the board and it's, you know, it's something that we can do economically and, you know, within our budget. But that's something we want to do too. As far as the size of it, you know, I know there's been some discussion there as to how big, you know, certain portions of the Lincoln County High School campus could accommodate other portions. You know, we have a lot of room there. And, you know, we have talked, ideally, you'd want it close proximity to the band room if at all possible. But, you know, sometimes that has its drawbacks because there's not as much space there. So I guess that's where we are right now. Do you all have any recommendations and thoughts about that you can share with us?
I printed out the sheets there. It's your campus view.
Okay.
And I believe the last sheet shows where it would be, what Mr. Cook was really in favor of. We'd spoken about that before, and I kind of made a representation of what it would look like.
Where is that located at?
It's behind the school, where the pond is.
Yeah.
It's just
Down
down
over
from
the bank.
It's down over the bank. Actually, I can, I made you, so this is back in school, back before here. And that's the softball field.
Yeah.
There's the pond, it's this area right here.
Okay.
And you can see it really well right here. There's the pond, doesn't have a color printer.
Okay.
But it's that area right here.
No, it's okay.
And actually, what I did, this is all available. You can see it's so much better on the color sheet. That's what it would look like. And it will, this is actually, the current road over the softball field is right about here. So if they would push the road away a little bit, this is actually larger than 300 foot.
Okay, let me just, now the dimensions that you're showing here, how large is this?
It's better than 300 foot.
So,
Yeah, I've actually,
100 would be comparable to a football field?
yes,
huh?
yes, that's larger than a football field.
Okay,
Not by much, it's probably about 60 foot longer than a football field.
Okay.
But what I did is I went on Google Earth and measured it.
okay,
And
all right. Are
that's how
there,
it's come up with it.
Unless you have the same width.
It's 160 foot wide and it's better than 300 foot long. So it's probably 200 by 350 or so. It's not an exact measurement, I just did that as a representation of where it would show up on your map.
okay, the next question, or the question, are there any obstacles to putting it there?
Well, that's what you're gonna have to answer.
I
Because,
asked the question first.
well, there is a drain ditch through there, but in my engineering expertise, which I'm not, that could be moved to the far side of the road, and actually, it would cost you a drain tile. And you'd have to have an engineer look at it, but what it is, if you look at this here, on the back side, along the side of the road here, this dips down on this side of the road. So if you run your drain tile to drain the lake across there, it would feed into this ditch line and goes all the way out to this road.
Yeah. Well, that water is, I guess that's a natural basin of some kind, water's coming from
Well,
somewhere, right?
I was under the understanding that that was the original pond from the farm that used to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone knows whether that was
I do not
developed
know.
pond or whether it just occurred naturally. I mean,
Yeah,
what I'm getting at, if it's a natural thing, that water's come from somewhere.
Yes, and unless it's just run off from the hills.
Well, but it's still coming from
yeah.
somewhere. And, I mean, I guess we'll just have to look into it more. I'm just,
Yeah.
it sounds awful simple to put a drain tile, and that's.
Well,
what's
and
correct.
that was, like I said, that's just eyeballing it. There's, I don't know if there's utilities, gas lines, I don't know what's under the field out there, if there is anything.
What about the pond? Would the pond remain, or is this
I was
over top of it?
not planning the pond to move.
Okay,
That was just going down below the pond in the existing field and grading it.
okay,
And
That's what I'm trying to understand, because
Oh, yeah,
I can see your.
that's perfectly all right.
And the road that goes down through there, the road
It's
in.
the road stays. The only road that would actually move would be the one going over to the softball field. It's just pushed,
Yeah.
this road right here, just push this way, yes. Just push this way just a little bit. It's a gravel road.
Yeah.
And all of that makes your field here actually larger. Well, yeah, this is actually just access road, going up to the softball field, and it's just, I guess it's just placed there, and, you know, only reason I would move it is to make this area bigger. And if you look on my plan, or drawing here, that's what I've done here, is I pushed the road